understand that Deputy Byrne is on the way to the House, so we'll come back to her item. The next item, though, for consideration is in the name of Deputy Caoimhghín, who wishes to discuss engagements with Biogen Biotechnology regarding the drug Spinraza, Nusinersen. Deputy Caoláin. Minister Byrne is taking this.
Can I ask, because this is the second time in a relatively short period that the Minister is not presented here to answer the Deputy's questioning. I have it to say that I protested strongly on the last occasion when Minister of State McGrath presented, and now I see it's Minister Byrne, who I respect greatly, but it is simply not acceptable. And there is an obligation, I understood, Caoimhghín, that the line minister, the primary minister, was obliged to present to answer deputies' topical issue as selected. I very much regret this, and I have to say it's most unacceptable to me, Minister of State Byrne, and I'm sure that you will convey that to Minister Harris, please. I've recently written to Minister Harris in relation to this matter regarding Spinraza and Nusinersen, and seeking a one-to-one meeting with him. So not only has he not attended here on 2 occasions when I've sought to address this very important matter with him, but he has also written back to me declining my request to meet with him to address this matter. That is most strange indeed. So here I am again, seeking to establish exactly where things are regarding the need to approve the drug Spinraza, Nusinersen, to give it its formal name, for HSE reimbursement. I believe absolutely that this is a must, that this is something that should be done and without further delay. I understand that there have been direct talks with the manufacturing pharma giant Biogen, the manufacturers of Spinraza. It is my understanding that Ireland has been offered the same arrangement as negotiated by the Benelux group of states, which we have now also joined the Benelux initiative. It is my view, and I would have put this directly to Minister Harris, that any negotiation such as that, specific to Spinraza, with Biogen in this instance, or any other comparable negotiation, would seek to widen the scope of that engagement, to take into account all possible areas for address, including what other benefits could be secured in our collective interest as a people. And I speak of exploring what other financial savings could be achieved by exploring other product lines manufactured by Biogen. And that would also include, in my view, biosimilars in relation to other branded drugs that we currently have access to in this jurisdiction. So while the focus is on Spinraza, quite particularly, I think that there are significant gains to be made by widening the scope of the engagement with Biogen, and there is the potential, in my view, for real and substantial savings to be made, not only in relation to the initial cost of Spinraza and then the significant reduction that the Benelux negotiation now available to us would make, but also other savings could be made by replacing branded products that we currently have available to us and prescribed by our general practitioners, replacing those with biosimilars that Biogen currently produce. So I'm making the point, I beg your pardon, I didn't realise the time had elapsed, but I'm making the point that it is within the gift of the Minister, the Department and the HSE to ensure that this exercise is brought to a financial reward that in fact could see us reach a situation where there would be no additional cost out of the public purse because of an imaginative and thoughtful approach to the whole project. Thank you.
Catherine Byrne, please.
Thanks, yes, Concorla, and I do apologise that the Minister is not here, but last time I seen him he was down in committee, so he must be still there. Anyway, I've been asked to take this on his behalf, and I want to thank Deputy O'Callaghan. I'm not going to try and pronounce the word, but Spinraza is indicated for the treatment of 5Q, spinal muscular atrophy. It is a disorder categorised by progressive muscular and weakness. Minister Harris appreciates that the disabling and progressive condition incurred enormous pressure on SMA sufferers and their families and carers, and access to potential beneficial drug treatment is an extremely important issue for people with spinal muscular atrophy. As the Deputy is aware, the Oireachtas has put in place a robust legal framework in the Health Pricing and Supply of Medical Goods Act 2013, which was given full statutory power to the HSE to access the making decisions on the reimbursement of medicines, taking into account a range of objective factors and expert opinions as appropriate. The Act gives the criteria to be applied in making the reimbursement decisions, which include the clinical and cost effectiveness of the product, the opportunities cost and the impact of resources that are available to the HSE. In reaching the decision, the HSE will examine all the relevant evidence and will take into account such expert opinions and recommendations that are appropriate, including for the National Centre for Pharmacoeconomics. The HSE received an application for the reimbursement of Spinraza in July 2017. The NCEP conducted a health technology assessment of Spinraza and did not recommend the reimbursement of Spinraza as at the submitted price. The statutory assessment process involves a health technology assessment followed by detailed consideration by the HSE expert group on the new drug therapies, including technology review group for rare diseases and drugs committee. The assessment is particularly centred on reviewing the evidence of clinical effectiveness of this new drug therapy, for example, the benefits for patients, ongoing clinical trials. The application is currently ongoing through the final stages of assessment, and the various reports are due to be considered shortly by the HSE leadership team, following which a final decision will be notified. In July 2018, two members of the Benelux Initiative on Pharmaceutical Policies from Belgium and Netherlands completed a joint negotiation for reimbursement of Spinraza. However, the joint negotiation process commenced when Ireland had only opened up negotiations with Belgium, Netherlands, Austria and Luxembourg, with a view to joining the existing collaboration between the four countries. As a candidate country, Ireland was not notified due to confidentiality arrangements that negotiations were occurring for the reimbursement of Spinraza, and we were not party to the negotiations and proceedings that occurred. I understand the Deputy's frustration. I'll come back in.
Thank you, Minister.
We're talking here about 25 seriously ill children and a double of that number of adults who would benefit directly from access to Spinraza. I have it on good authority in relation to the Benelux initiative that the negotiation which is now available to Ireland in relation to Spinraza would mean that each vial, and 6 would be required in the first year, that each vial at 83,000 per one would be less than 50,000 as a result of the Benelux position, that there is a significant saving of the order of 33,000 per vial, and in year 1, 6 will be used, and in each subsequent year it will be down to 3 per year in relation to each of those who would directly benefit from it. The point I am making is that while there still is a considerable sum, that Biogen, like many of the other pharma giants, is a significant player in the production of many, many products, some branded products, some that are biosimilar. We don't appear to have a biosimilar strategy here in this state. But I am saying to the Minister, and I'm asking her to convey to Minister Harris, that there is very definitely the potential, from my examination of Biogen's range of products, there is the potential to seriously engage with them in tandem with the negotiation in relation to Spinraza, in relation to biosimilars for other drugs that are currently costing us significant sums annually, and that a saving can be made and could be negotiated with Biogen that would actually eliminate the total cost of the introduction or approval of the reimbursement of Spinraza across this state, and what that would mean for the children and the families, the parents in each of these cases.
Thank you, Deputy.
I appeal to Minister Byrne. As a mother and a grandmother, I appeal to her to impress on Minister Harris that the answer that I have here today isn't worth the paper it's written on. I have given more information than he has been willing to share over this past period of time, and he has not yet presented in the House to address this issue.
Thank you, Deputy.
I would appeal to you to impress on him the importance of a decision now in the favour and in the interest of these children.
Minister Byrne.
Caoimhghín, and I just want to again I suppose reiterate what's in the reply, that it is the HSE that is the body that makes the decisions around reimbursement of medicine under the health price. I do understand the Deputy's concerns and his interest in this, and I've listened carefully to what he has said, and as you have already pointed out, Deputy Caoláin, I am a mother and a grandmother, and I do understand that when children are very ill, we must do our very best and beyond our best to look after them. They are, in many ways, the jewel in all our crowns as parents and grandparents. And I will appeal on your behalf, on a personal basis, to Minister Harris to look at some of the recommendations and some of the knowledge that you have raised here this afternoon, when I can get a chance to talk to him, which may not be this evening, but maybe tomorrow. And I will appeal to him on your behalf that maybe it would be possible to meet you at some stage to discuss further some of the information that you've given me today. And unfortunately, Caoimhghín, I don't have the knowledge like Deputy Caoláin has spoken on, so I'm reluctant to say any further on it, if that's okay.